Hey guys, it's been a while. This is my first video back in 2019 and today I am redesigning my logo. So you can see on my left, your right, I've started to mess around with my old logo. I first tried to do an outline using a pen. But I have heaps of problems with it and I keep making mistakes, like forgetting to add a layer, which is a big deal because I haven't done Photoshop in such a long time. Basically, you outline the whole thing and then you realise that you didn't put a new layer in and you have to add a new layer and do it all over again. So then from there, I added a new layer and used my tablet and tried to trace around it. I just wanted it to look a bit simpler. It's great the way it is, but I feel like it's a bit unpolished, a bit too raw, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to simplify it, make it easier to see, and use less of that gradient that I got going on. I mean, there's in the middle of the palm, you can see there's that bright spot for no reason. So this is the point where I've got the outline done. And then I'm comparing it to the original, and then I was playing around. Maybe I should get rid of it. I did decide to make it wider in the end, which was awesome. What's been going on for me lately? I got married, Bing! Which has been pretty good, and been on holiday, 2 holidays, and now I'm teaching again at a different school. My students are interesting. That's all I'm going to say. So basically, in the end, I used the original picture. I made it wider. I turned the exposure up. I made it black and white, and then I did my outlining over the top, and that seemed to work quite well. I do like the way the hand looks now. It's way better. So you can see here, I've just added the fingers in because I didn't think it looked great, and added a few more details in there. And it turned out pretty good in the end when I added in a few different things. And you can see here I'm just getting the P out, giving the right colour to. So there I added some stroke. I made it a bit thicker because the hand strokes were very different compared to the P. See, the P has really thick lines on the outside, whereas the hand was really thin. So then I go through the same process with the P, just stripping it back, making it a bit more palatable and a bit more clear to actually what it is. Especially with a logo that you want people to instantly recognize, you don't really want it to have too much detail. You can still tell it's a P, and you can still tell the shape of the P and what it is. So I haven't actually lost anything bringing it down this way. And then what I did was I raised the edges of the P, which you can see now, and it had this block edgy thing going on. So I decided to re-stroke it again. So do the pen on the outline and then stroke it down, and it turned out pretty well after that. Stole a colour from a hand online because I didn't want to look at the colour. Didn't want to pick it. And then from here I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm almost done. But I thought maybe it's a bit bright still. So I decided to add some shadows in eventually. And that's the process you see now. So I've just separated the 2 layers so that I can draw on the colour layer and not over the outline. And then I decided to start putting in my shadows. So me just comparing old one to the new one, which has been pretty good. And here I start adding the shadows in, which is working out well. I think without the shadows, the P looked a bit bright and a little bit flat. You can tell that my other P is got that dimension, it's got a bit of a shine on it, whereas this new P didn't have that. So I thought if I add in a bit of shadow, a bit of a highlight or a shadow, that it's going to look a tiny bit better. And then once I've done the P, I was like, well, I may as well do the hand as well. So you can see that I'm slowly adding in these shadows to the hand. And it makes the hand pop so much more nicely. Like it goes from an object that's just like this complete sketchy drawn thing to this more rounded object. I did notice as I was doing this that the nail on my hand looks a bit weird. Like if you look at the pinky nail, it looks a bit like funky, like it hasn't grown on properly. So then I decided to fix that too in a second. But then yeah, this was almost the complete stage. I recolored the nails, I readjusted the size of the P, I think, and then I was fooling around with trying to get the colours, different colours in. And then I decided it was pretty good, and I was like almost ready, and I was stuffing around with backgrounds, seeing what colour backgrounds I could have used. And then I noticed that some of my when I was changing colours, I noticed that there was a bit of a dot sitting out there. And then this is really good. This is close to like the finished product. And I decide at this point that they look a bit bright. So the P is sort of, the P and the hand, you sort of like, so then I try to find a way to make them a little bit less bright so that they stand out a little bit less. And you see that's what I'm doing here. So I'm playing with the shadow and the highlight settings. And I think I get them to a point where they're not blinding me. And then, yeah, finish. So my old one and then my new one, which is quite good. I like my old one and I like my new one. So if you like this video, do that thing down there. And I'll see you next time. P3 videos. Catch ya.